every single regular show season 1 episode. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get into it. Okay, so the first episode, season 1, episode 1, is The Power. So Mordecai and Ruby use a magic keyboard left behind by a wizard who was urinating in a bush to give them anything they want, but things take a turn for the worst when they accidentally use the keyboard to send Skips to the moon. They must find a way to get him back before the moon monster destroys him. So, it was released September 6, 2010, and it got 2.10 million views. That's very good for a first episode of a cartoon. So, this episode was just filled with comedy, and had so many good moments. It started the show off so well, and especially when Ruby explains how he got the keyboard. So, the wizard was urinating, he just snatched it. It was pretty funny. Another really good moment was Go Away Skips. They just put on red shirts and then just start doing the thing where you stick your fist through it to make it look like something else. But I won't go too much into that. So you can probably guess what I'm going to give this episode. This gets a good. It was a very nice episode and a great way to start off this season. So, season 1, episode 2, just set up the chairs. So, when Mordecai and Rigby are assigned to set up the chairs for a birthday party, they choose to play an old arcade game and accidentally unleash a chaotic villain from the game and must defeat it before it destroys the park. So, it was released September 10, 2010. It got 1.9 million viewers. So, this was another very good episode that the last episode, or the previous one, the very first one, it had comedy as well as action. So that's a mix of my two favorite genres, and it had some really, really great, memorable moments, like when they're setting up the chairs and when the kid yells at Benson on the bus. This is just a really good episode. Obviously, it's gonna get a good. So, Season 1, Episode 3, Caffeinated Concert Tickets. So, this one, Mordecai and Rigby work overtime in order to make extra money to buy tickets to a concert, but then blindly make a deal with a giant coffee bean and its Japanese translator that quickly backfires on them. So it was released September 20, 2010, got 1.72 million viewers, and for me personally, it was the least enjoyable of the good rating. So yes, it is going to get a good rating, but it lacked a little bit in comedy from the previous two. That was the only reason why I was thinking of giving it an okay rating. But it still deserves a good rating because it had a couple of good jokes. The comedy was good. Maybe it could have used a bit of action, but, you know, it's a show mainly focused on comedy. So, yeah, it just quite an enjoyable episode. Just not as good as the ones before it or the ones to come. Okay, Season 1, Episode 4, Death Punchies. So, in this episode, Rigby steals instructions from Death Kwon-do on how to perform a powerful punching move in order to beat Mordecai at a game where he always gets punched. But it backfires when Mordecai discovers his secret and use a block move to counter the powerful punch. So, it was released September 27, 2010. It got 1.98 million viewers. So, still averaging around the 2 million viewers mark. So that's very good for a Cartoon Network show. And you can see why it really lifted Cartoon Network from a very bad time. So this episode is filled with comedy and action, a bit more on the action side than comedy, but it still had some really funny moments. And yeah, and just some really good arguments from Mordecai and Ruby. A very memorable episode, and of course it's going to get a good rating. So, we move on to Season 1, Episode 5, Free Cake, Free Cake. Okay, so, obviously that line, really, really memorable. But yeah, anyway, Mordecai and Ruby plan to throw a surprise birthday party for Skips so they can eat free cake, but realize their accident ruins Skip's ritual to stay immortal. So yeah, Skips is very old and he maintains his age because he's immortal. And he gives himself up to these big giant baby gods, and that's why he becomes immortal. So this episode kind of explains that. Yeah, it was released October 4, 2010, and it got 2.1 million viewers. So you could see the viewers just went up. I'm pretty sure it got more than the very first episode. Maybe a bit less, but yeah, it's maintaining the 2 million viewers mark, which, as I said, very good for a Cartoon Network show. And this episode was filled with comedy, even a bit of drama when Skips was dying. That was, it hit me hard when I first saw it. It's got good comedy, like really good moments at the end when Mordecai thinks like he unzips his pants, he thinks it's a naked party, but then Benson says no, it's not, and then when at the end they finally get the cake that they want, but it's vanilla. It's just such a good episode, very memorable. I think you could tell this episode is getting a bad. No, it's getting a good rating. Of course, it's getting a good rating. It's free cake. Moving on to season 1, episode 6, Meet Your Maker. So, Mordecai and Rigby get trapped in a meat locker while searching for hot dogs after Rigby sets them on fire with too much oil. They meet talking hot dogs who agree to help them, but their real goal is to eat them instead. So, it was released October 10, 2010. 1.9 million viewers, still averaging around the 2 million mark, and a very popular opinion that I've heard is this episode is okay to even bad. But I reckon the action, um, there's a tiny little bit of comedy. That's probably why a lot of people give it an okay rating, because it lacks a little bit in comedy. It has a lot of action and a lot of good moments. I do like the fort guy. He thinks he's from like the medieval times, and there's a couple other good moments where Rigby accidentally pushes the gorilla into the lake. There's actually quite a few good moments from this episode. So I'm gonna give it a good. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with that, but as I said, my personal opinion and the popular opinion is okay to bad. Okay, so season 1, episode 7, Grilled Cheese Deluxe. So this episode, after eating Benson's and being sent out to get him another one, Mordecai and Rigby compete with each other to see who can lie better, which quickly gets them into bigger trouble with 2 astronauts that they try to impress. Now, you may think that that didn't make sense, like it says after eating Benson's, because it's called Grilled Cheese Deluxe, so you already know what they're talking about. That's why I just said after eating Benson's. Like, here's Grilled Cheese Deluxe. Anyway, it was released October 18, 2010. 2.16 million viewers, so this one got quite a lot as well. It had a lot of action. It had a bit of drama when they thought they were going to die, but then they used Benz's Grilled Cheese Deluxe to save the world. And it was really funny when Benson thought they were just like slacking off. Yeah, it just had a lot of good comedy, even drama, which is pretty rare in season 1, because only I would say like 3 episodes mainly focus on drama. So it's kind of rare in season 1. So yeah, it's got good comedy, drama, and it's even got a bit of action. So really good episode. Obviously, good rating. Do I have to do this? Season 1, episode 8, the unicorns have got to go. Oh boy! Mordecai buys a new cologne to attract Margaret, but instead attracts a gang of troublemaking unicorns and must find a way to get rid of them. So, it was released October 25, 2010, 2.4 million viewers. You can, you can clearly see why it got so much views. The most viewed season 1 episode. That's pretty sad because this is a bad episode. I really hate to say this. A season 1 episode being bad. Like, when I remembered it, I thought it was just like an okay episode. But a lot of people, including myself, think this is a bad episode because of how mean-spirited the unicorns are. If it was just them who was being mean to Mordecai, then I would give this episode an okay. But Rigby, his best bro, even being mean to him and sides with the unicorns who he just met over Mordecai. Okay, so next episode, season 1, episode 9 is Prank Callers. Now, I gotta tell you, strap yourself in for this one. Mordecai and Rigby are sent back to 1982 after attempting to prank call the master prank caller and need help to get back to their normal time. So it was released November 1, 2010. It got 2.10 million viewers, quite a lot. And yes, it was my favorite episode from this season. A lot of people wouldn't agree. They would say like it wouldn't stand out from the rest, but I think its comedy has just made me laugh the most. To when they have to use Pops' old phone and then they just get so paranoid that they have to use the tinfoil around their head. The Joe Mama part, that I died when I heard that for the first time. I just died laughing. Um, when he just keeps pranking them, and then they're desperately trying to prank him, and then to the set where, to the part where Skips tackles him. Oh, it's so good. I love this episode so much. As you can tell, it's getting a good rating. Okay, so season 1, episode 10, Dawn. So, Rigby's taller in size but younger in age brother, Dawn, is called to the park to save it from financial ruin, much to Rigby's annoyance. Rigby's refusal to be Dawn's sugar caused the park to slowly disappear. This forces Rigby to reconcile his differences to his brother. So, this episode was released November 8, 2010. It got 2.09 million viewers. So, this episode it had a lot, like it mainly focused on drama. So, that's pretty cool. It did lack a little bit in comedy and it had quite a bit of action. Quite a bit of action. But just the drama and the parts where Rigby and his brother just make up and bond, just make the episode. And seeing I have a brother, I know like brother bonding, that kind of stuff. You know, it's just really nice episode to see someone who has been in Rigby's shadow just make up with him. And yeah, as I said, there is a little bit of comedy when he's like giving them all sugar and pops, the way he hugs, and then a couple other memorable moments from this episode. Yeah, it's getting a good rating. Okay, so season 1, episode 11, Rigby's body. So, when Rigby's body forces itself out of its consciousness after he eats too much junk food, Mordecai and Skips try to return him back to normal before the change becomes permanent, but the bodybuilder also wants Rigby's body too. So, this episode was released November 15, 2010, 1.93 million viewers. So, this episode had quite a lot of comedy, it had quite a lot of action and fight scenes. Drama had quite a bit, like when he gets run over and then Rigby returns in his body. That was a nice moment. But my main problem with this episode is the amount of like gross out scenes. And when I saw this for the first time, I didn't really like this episode too much. But now I looked over it and I see how funny it was, and just all of it outweighs like the couple of gross scenes. So this barely is getting a good rating. Now we move on to season 1, episode 12, Mordecai and the RIGBY'S. So last episode of this season. After Mordecai and Rigby accidentally pass themselves off as a real band, their future selves appear to help them out. But after finding out that it's a hoax, they end the band, causing their future selves to disappear. So this episode was released November 22, 2010, and it got 2.03 million viewers. So, I enjoyed this episode, don't get me wrong, but for me, it didn't have much action. It didn't have much comedy. It did have a bit of drama. It was just like, it wasn't really memorable. Anyway, this brings us to the end of this review. Thank you guys and girls so much for watching me try something new. And if we hit 5 likes, I'll review season 1 of SpongeBob. Or even season 2 of regular show. Or anything you guys want. Just leave a comment below and I'll review it. So, see you guys